All right, so here is the proposed mounting apparatus. I welded it right on there, and I just kept running over to the hose. So that should be strong enough and give it enough. And here is my super precise template. Hot glued together in maximum kludge. Then now we will just do a little trace and a little band sawing and putting together. Now, just in case you had any doubt that I conjure together a lot of my tools and use just what works and what I can build as fast as possible, let this reassure you. It's true. Cut the outside on my bandsaw, and now the only thing I have left. I mean, using a jigsaw, it's actually working. Just got to keep it clamped. It isn't crazy. Using the wood to space the blade up too, so I can burn out different parts of it as it goes dull. This blade will be completely garbage by the time I'm done, but at least I did the task. Except the metal disc on top, we traced them with a marker. Now I put the template back on with bolts through the holes, and I'm going to use a transfer punch, which is just the right size, and we'll leave a perfect mark in the center. Then we can drill those four. All right, so here is our final contraction. And so the gear is actually not quite concentric to the base, but it's still within the tolerances of what the chain would accept. To be able to see that chain in the back. Right, here's where it gets a little tight. And my thread adjusted it. Now you can see the back of it a bit loose, but the chain's not coming off. So that's okay. Yeah, so I had made a little bit of a slop there, and I meant to make these like 1/8 of an inch shorter so that I could space them on washers to bring it up to the right height. What I ended up having to do is lower the sprocket just a little bit because I made these like exactly what they should be. So hopefully I don't have to, but I might have to cut those and re-weld them and then space it up so I have more adjustment room, but it's okay. I mean, it's on right now. And you can see how loose the chain is in this position. But we still got more than 3/4 of engagement. So it's not really a problem. I'll check it in the other direction because this is a little bit of a guard to help keep it in place, but I don't think it'll come off. You could always put a tensioner in here too, if we really have to. So whatever. This is my least favorite part of this whole build so far. Really is. One other thought is I don't think it's the gear around this that is not concentric. I think it's the way that I screwed this to the plastic. So I mean, I could literally go in and just rotate it a little bit and recenter it better. That's one of the dangers, that I only cut it on the bandsaw. I didn't spin it in the lathe, so I don't really have any like perfect measurements to where to align it, you know? It was kind of by eye, so the fact that I'm 1/8 of an inch or so off is not surprising. Let us go way back in time to a suggestion that I thought of, and it turns out that the diameter of this actually is a whole number of teeth. I laid those out very carefully with the calipers and also with, a compass walking it. And then I drilled them carefully. So I'm going to just clean those up a little bit, and we're going to give it a shot. All right, boys and girls. So it literally took me about 10 minutes to lay out our teeth that were missing. And wow, very few tights funner. I mean, all I have to do is open those up a little bit, because they're having hoeing it in you. Like, it's like the first try. And it's pretty smooth. I may switch over. It'll take a more powerful motor. I mean, that's pretty powerful. I mean, that'll probably be a wiper motor to do that. And I could have had this whole thing, the last like 3 or 4 days that I just spent doing stuff, I could have literally boiled down into like 2 hours. I still don't like this mechanism. I'm not going to backtrack from that. These new teeth don't have that extra gusset. They don't have the raised ridge here like the old ones do. And I'm really just done. Like, I am done screwing around with the chute. I'm gonna keep these parts just in case I run into trouble. But also, that bigger wiper motor there, that's like a $70 motor new. I can get them used and whatever, but plus it's gonna draw more amps. Gonna need a different driver board. Just done with it. Not gonna use it. If I was gonna spend any more time on it, I would hack that entire top unit off and use this and cut the extra gear teeth around. All right, so the last mechanical mechanism we need to deal with is the belt tensioner. And so there's a mount here and there's a hole here, and that took this. There was a pull cord, and it ran around to the back of the machine, and it went through this bracket here. There's another mount point, and it went up through another cable with a spring on it to a hand cord. One thing I do like about that is it's completely self-contained. I can just take the whole thing off and be done with it. All right, so we have our cable installed, and goes down human through and out, and it's nice and long. So I'm going to install a mount for it right here where I kind of have the most meat. And this is one of the handles off of the snowblower that it mounts about like so. And I'll drill a hole in here, and then I will a spring to it so that regardless of how that's set, you kind of have a spring buffer, and it can only give so much tension. Now that way we don't have to set it like super precisely, and it's not like killing the belt. And this is what the original mechanism used to the spring. All right, so here's what we came up with for our mount. We used some kind of fixed stuff, put a hole in a split to get the cable in. I just welded this directly to the frame, drilled a hole here. So in lathe, I drilled and tapped the end hole for a 1/4-inch course. Then I drilled a couple cross holes, which I'll cut out, and then I have a through hole for a pin. So now I'm going to part it off, and then I'm going to hacksaw those away and do a little filing. And the raw version looks very pretty. It's beautiful. I'm not going to lie, it's still a little ugly, but I don't care. It's going to work. All right, so we have the nice little winkage there. And we have ink tangential adjustments. Slowly puts up the tension. And we are operating as expected. So, I do believe that this concludes the mechanical portion of our build. I think I'm going to cut the video off here, and that way we can start fresh with electronics in the next one. Wish me luck. Actually, that first should go pretty quick because I've already tested everything.